Kurt, thank you so much for being part of this. It really means a lot to me. It means a lot to the experts. And just to give you a quick recap, I help experts with their web design and SEO. And a lot of them have questions about what attorneys actually look for them in general as an expert witness. And in this case, what attorneys look for them when they're looking at their online presence. So that's going to be the general topic about marketing for expert witnesses. Feel free to take a few minutes to talk about you, your law firm, and how people can reach out to you as well.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'm Kurt London. I own London Harker Injury Law. We cover the states of Montana, Utah, Arizona, California, and Nevada. We are headquartered and mainly work in Utah. That's where the majority of our clients come from. We handle all sorts of accidents, not just auto accidents, slip and falls, shootings, assaults, mold cases, carbon monoxide, basically anything and everything where an injury is involved and someone is at fault, we will help out. Most injury attorneys like to stick around auto accidents, and we do a whole bunch. That's why we do a lot of expert work because of all that. The easiest way to find me is actually on LinkedIn. That's probably where I'm the most active, Kurt London on LinkedIn, or you can go to our website, londonharker.com. That has all of our contact information, email, address, phone numbers. Yeah, feel free to reach out.
Something I've been curious about in your own words is just like how someone goes to the doctor to relieve their pain. What would you say it's the main problem that expert witnesses solve when you go and try and find one?
You mean, why do we want to hire him to help out in our cases?
Yeah.
Because they offer simplicity. So they take a very difficult question or topic, and they can do a lot more research and get a better, deeper dive and synthesize that data and information that we need into a legal answer for our questions that we have. So they basically help us compile a bunch of our data and give us the answers yes or no on a certain variety of topics. So they basically offer just simplicity for us, which is why we need them.
They do a lot of complex things, but it's interesting to hear that at the end of the day, what they offer is simplicity for
Yeah.
when you're looking at the expert and you're looking at their CV. It's my understanding that's one of the first things you look at. Do you want to see what do you want to see at the top of that CV? The case studies, their training, their education, a photo of them. What would that be?
Usually the training and education, kind of like a resume, right? Just like a plain resume. And then a list of their cases that they've been involved in afterwards, or their case studies. And then maybe a photo. Photo is not as important. Cases are important, but I really want to just see in their current experience and education if they'd even be a good fit for what I'm looking for before I do a deeper dive into the cases and stuff that they've been involved in.
That's interesting because another attorney had told me that they want to see the case studies, but I guess it always changes.
So when you ask an attorney a question, you're going to get 27 different opinions. I mean, that information is great, but I also want to make sure that before I invest any more time into researching my experts to see if they're who I need, I really just want to see from a 30,000-foot view whether or not they're going to be a good fit before I go into the weeds and look at the cases and case studies and things like that. So just a glance just at a normal resume, their education experience, what they're working on now, before going into the cases they've been involved in and case studies they've been involved in.
Yeah. Okay. And just curious, do you ever check on their actual education and see if maybe they faked a degree from a university or something like that?
I haven't done a deep dive into their prior education, but if they work at like a college or something, I'll go on the college websites to make sure they're actually listed as a faculty member or adjunct professor or something like that. But I won't reach out to a college to make sure that they graduated from there 40 years ago or anything.
Oh, okay. And then in the digital world, there's a lot of lead magnets and newsletters that every business tries to do. For the experts, now I have a better idea with what you told me about simplicity. But if you were to go onto an expert's website that you're looking to hire, what would be something that they offered that you would, outside of wanting to contact them, of course, what would be something that they could offer that would make you want to exchange your email information for that? Like a white paper, their CV.
Yeah, I mean, CD is a really good one. It's always good to have those on file. Maybe a PDF version of their most recent publication or documents, like a book or maybe a article of some kind that they published. Those are the two things that come top to mind that would interest me the most to give up my information to put on a newsletter. Or if they've got some kind of maybe even a transcript of their most recent trial, that'd be kind of interesting to have, or deposition, that'd be interesting to have as well. If they're willing to give up and they can give that up. Well, some kind of document that kind of gives me an insight about who they are as an expert and what they can provide. Um, that's as an attorney, that's what would prompt me to be more involved and want to get on their list and things like that.
Mhm. And then you said publication first, so I would assume that publications would take top priority over their CVs,
Yeah,
case studies, something
yeah.
like that.
At least for me, that's the most interesting is what they publish the most or most recent.
Hmm.
That kind of gives you a better idea of their expertise, what they're involved in, what they're researching, what they're geeking out on currently.
Okay, that makes sense, right? Because then if they have a publication on X topic and you're looking for Y topic,
Yep,
then that would probably tell you that this is what they're focusing on right now.
exactly.
Okay. So then on the flip side of that, would you say that maybe that could in a way hurt them as well if maybe it's not the exact thing you're looking for?
Oh, that's always the question, right? It depends on the field. Yeah, I guess it could exclude some people being involved or want to reach out if that topic's not exactly what they're looking for, not broad enough. I don't know if they're not the right fit, then that attorney would find out at some point anyways. So I can go either way on that. But that's a good question.
Okay, that's true. A lot of experts just have their directory profiles on, you name it, right? Seek, Jurispro, experts.com, and there's plenty more. Do you, as an attorney, if you ever find an expert in a directory, do you like it when they have a website, like a nice
Yes.
professional presence, and you go and look at it?
Oh yeah, that's the first thing I do. So I want to go to their actual website to see what services they provide, their contact information, what their office is, who else is in that office, what they advertise themselves as to doing, and what services they're providing. That's literally the very first thing that I do when I get an expert's name. So I Google them to find their website.
Oh, that's really cool. And then if they don't have a website, would that deter you from wanting to reach out to them?
Yeah, it just makes it harder as an attorney to find out who they are. Like, you have to make it really easy. Attorneys, our trade craft is time, right? So if we have to spend more time trying to find out who you are, it's going to be not as enticing or as easy for us to be involved and reach out for someone to be involved rather than someone who's got a nicely laid out website that has everything they've been involved in, their kind of CV, their office stats, just things like that. So nice website definitely helps for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really amazing to hear.
Yes. And you weren't paying me to say that either.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Time is money for us, so you got to make it easy. So if you make it easy, I think you make it a lot easier for us to hire you as an expert.
Something an attorney mentioned one time is that, to give you a little backstory, it's my understanding that sometimes attorneys try to make an expert look bad, and right, if it's not done eloquently, then the attorney itself just looks like a jerk. So they mentioned that the expert can also do that, and same thing, if it's not done eloquently, it would just make the expert look like a jerk. So what are some good techniques that you go over with your experts so that when they are answering your questions, right, they make you look like a rock star, and when the opposition is asking them questions, they can make them look not like a rock star, but without being annoying, right? Oh, can you repeat that question again?
Yeah.
Can you say it differently?
Yeah. That's a big part of being in trial is how likable you are with the jury sometimes. So I try to find experts that present well anyways, so I don't have to do too much prep on that. But just tell them to be straightforward, answer to the best of their knowledge, don't be combative. I don't like to play games like that with my experts. You don't want to accidentally overstep and make the jury not like you or your expert by being too combative or by trying to poo the other side too much. So I just tell them to be confident, respond when they can, refer to their data, and let the jury decide from there. So the job of the expert is to synthesize the facts down into a palatable format for the jury and judge to understand. It's not really to make the other expert look dumb. I just feel like there's too many landmines with that kind of approach. I know I've seen it done before, and I just think people can see through that kind of approach too easily. So I just tell them to be straightforward, prepare well for the case, review the report, stick to the data, answer the questions, ask for clarifying questions when they can.
So it goes back to, because I know experts, they cannot say that I'm going to help you win a case, right? They have to remain neutral and all that.
Yeah.
You, as an attorney, you're going to hire the expert because he is going to help you support and provide facts that at the end of the day you want so that you can win your case, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then if you hire them, naturally, the questions that the opposition makes are probably just going to be that to try and make him look bad, but nothing concrete.
Yeah. I mean, usually the tactic that both sides take is they just say to the other one's a hired gun, right? So they're making X amount of money just so they'll basically, the assumption is or presumption is that the expert will say whatever that person hiring them will do. And there's no way around that. But the experts I work with, I want them to be honest with me. So if I don't have a case or there's weak points, I definitely want them to tell me. We can help address it and explain it, but definitely don't lie and make stuff up and just be a people pleaser, Because part of it's to educate me as well. Some of the stuff is way over my head. I'm not a scientist, so they need to be honest with me about my chances on a case and things like that as well.
So even pre-litigation as well, like before, because you would hire an expert also before it even goes to trial, right?
We hire experts a lot even before litigation's filed because I want to make sure if I'm getting into litigation, I know exactly what I'm getting into, and I want to have my experts lined up already so that we can keep pushing for trial because we're already ready. But I've had it too where I hire an expert and they're like, "You have no case." I'm like, "Okay, now we can't litigate because like, I have no case." But at least I know now, rather than being in litigation and hiring an expert and be like, "Oh no, now we're 2 years in and we just found out we have no case."
Has that ever happened?
Oh yeah, had it on a recent premises liability case. Had it on a coffee spill case. I've had it on a few where they review everything. No, you have no case here. This isn't. There is no liability, or this couldn't have caused those injuries. There's no way. Glad I know now. So we'll withdraw.
Yeah. Oh, gives you enough time to withdraw from that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious, have you heard of the McDonald's coffee spill case? Because I know a
Yeah.
lot of people make fun of it, but it's not. Someone told me that it was actually a very serious case, right? Like the person got really injured because they
Yeah.
spilled that. Was there expert witnesses involved in that?
Yep. So that's why I had a coffee spill case in Montana, and that was the whole problem too. Is everyone's heard about the McDonald's case, so you had to make sure that your coffee spill case was absolutely solid, because the judge and jury is going to think about the McDonald's case because the insurance made it sound like it was a minor accident, and she got this huge windfall, but her burns were pretty serious and severe, and she also got punitive damages too, because McDonald's wasn't doing some of the things that they claimed they were doing. So some of the money she got wasn't even because of her injuries; it was because of the punitive damages to punish McDonald's. I've only had a few coffee burn cases, and that comes up every single one.
In all of them, right? It's such a famous case.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
funny. And then, which kind of reminds me too, as well, when I was in college, every college student had this joke of, I'm just going to run in front of a car so that they pay for my college tuition.
yeah. You got student loans to pay off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that wouldn't happen, right? It has to be a legit case. Like,
Oh yeah.
if you run in front of a car, it's not going to.
Well, I mean, it depends on your jurisdiction. In Utah, that would not work at all because you have to be 49% or less at fault. You running in front of a car is going to prohibit you from that. But some states, they have what's called pure contributory negligence, where even if you're like 1% not at fault, so you're 99% at fault, you could still get a payout.
Oh, wow.
It would be reduced, but you could still have a settlement. But yeah, you can't just like fabricate an accident most of the time and hope for a settlement or payout.
Yeah.
Fortunately and unfortunately, right? Like you shouldn't want to ruin your health to get a payout from the insurance. It's not fun, anyways.
Yeah, no, definitely not. They should really tell that to some students.
I've got law school loans. I thought about it, right?
Yeah. Something also I've been curious about is I know some experts they start doing expert witness work after they retire. And it sounds like that is really the only reason why they do it. They're like, oh, I retired, so now I'm just gonna do some expert witness work and still get some money in. Does that ever become an issue at trial, like when they're trying to figure out if he's a hired gun?
My only hesitation with someone who is retired and wants to become an expert on the side is to make sure that they keep up with the standard and modern literature in their field. So as long as they're doing research still, they're being active in the academia of their field, it's not too big of an issue. The issue is where they're not keeping up with it and their knowledge and experience is 10 years outdated. That's when you're going to have a big issue. It's not necessarily, I don't think them being retired or not is going to play too much of a role of them being viewed as like a hired gun. I think they're going to be viewed that way anyways, but it's more of them having to be involved in their field still, despite them being retired.
And then it goes back to what you said about you wanted to see their training and education. If they have continuing or continual education, it would be good if they put that on their resume as well.
Yeah.
Something I have been curious about is if there is an expert that is still active in their field, is it beneficial if you see that they have a website for their expert witness practice and then an actual business website?
So, two, I don't think it matters too much as long as your website adequately provides information about exactly what you do, what fields you're interested in, and provide and what services you can provide. If that's also on your business website, that's great. If it's not, then you probably should have a second website just for your expert work. Um, but a lot of experts, like for instance, will hire people from like universities to opine on one topic or the other. Like the university website usually has a fair amount of information where you can find their information and also determine kind of what area that they actually do and what they're involved in with their literature and publications and such. So if there's not enough information, you probably should have your own. If there is enough information, it probably works.
Okay.
But yeah, it really depends.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that they are an expert in their field.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as they do that, it should be okay.
And the website's got to be good enough where you can find them too. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's important.
definitely. Kurt, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, no problem, good. And let me know, and I'll repost it on my socials and stuff too.
We'll do. Yeah, definitely. We'll let you know.
All right.
Bye, Kurt.